Welcome back to Don's Life.
Welcome to the channel.
Today we're going to install and review these new roller shades by SmartWings.
Let's go.
So we don't normally let people into our bedroom.
No, not ever.
And we're going to violate that rule today just for the sake of this YouTube review. So we partnered with SmartWings. They reached out to us because they knew we were in the market to do some blinds in our home. In this case, it's going to be a little bit different than what we've done before. We used zebra blinds in one of our previous videos. Today with SmartWings, we're going to use these 100% blackout roller shades. So we'll talk about configuration and ordering and measuring and all that throughout this video. But we have 5 blinds that we want to install. We're going to go into quite a bit of depth, so stick around and we'll get this done. But I think we should start with the unboxing. On our bed, we have 5 roller shades. We have 2 for these small windows here. We have this quite large one right there to fill this opening, which I'll get into how to measure for that in a moment. And then we have 2 more bedrooms that are going to use each of those roller shades. I think we should start small. We'll start with one of these 2 for the small windows. I think we'll start with that one, and then we'll do that one. By then we'll be experts, and then we'll do this one. Whoa, we're still decorated. Why are we still decorated?
It's still the holidays.
It's still the holidays. So our bedroom actually gets decorated for the holidays, if you didn't tell already. Either way, let's open up the small one here and see what we have. Make note, there's a blue label here that says the remote is inside. So if you order a remote or multiple remotes, they will indicate which box your remotes are in.
Bring your home into the future.
Okay, and then we have our getting started manual, our remote control, some wall anchor screws,
charging cable,
and then our blind, if you could take that apart. All right, so this is our fabric valance. This would be the top, so you can reference the top. It'll tell you if it came with a remote control or not. You can choose to label the rooms. I'm gonna take this opportunity to explain the measuring and customizing process, or Mrs. Don's Life will help me with that. And then you'll see as we unbox exactly what we have. And when we explain all the features, it'll make total sense, right?
Yes. First, you need to decide what type of blind you want, and in our room, we just went with a blackout roller shade. Then you need to choose the fabric that you want for your blind, and we just went with white. Then you need to decide if you want an inside mount or an outside mount. We decided to go with inside because we'll be keeping our drapes. Next, you take your height and your width, write it down, make sure it's exact, and you're good to go. Next
is choosing the motor that's going to control these blinds. So you have multiple choices. Take your time here. Don't be afraid to reach out to SmartWings and ask questions. That's actually what we did. And they decided that the Matter motor, based on how we want to control it, in this case with Amazon Alexa, would work very well in our situation. So double check that with them. Of course, if you order the remote control, that will control it regardless. But if you're choosing voice commands as an option, definitely do your research to make sure you have full compatibility.
So next you choose if you want your valance fabric wrapped or if you just want to go plain metal. We chose to go with the fabric wrapped, just to keep it consistent. And then the bottom bar as well, you can get it plain or fabric wrapped. Next, you can choose if you want a solar panel to help with charging. We're just going to charge with the USB cable that's provided. And remember, you may want to order a 5-channel remote.
We're almost done with the options. The next one is the roll type. So you see this will roll at the back of the shade. You can also choose to have it roll at the front of the shade. It just depends on what option you want. Next, you want to decide where your motor is going to be located, left or right. You're going to need to be able to recharge it. I have an outlet on the left side here, so I want my motor on the left side. On the other side of the room, I'm going to want my motor on the right side because that's where the outlet is, to the right side of that window. The last question that they ask you is whether or not you want light blockers. We chose not to get them because we still have drapes. Light blockers are just going to help block the light that may come past the sides of the roller shade when it's down. Our drapes are probably going to block that for us, so we chose not to get them, but you may want them. Now, if you are ordering multiple shades, you have the option of also labeling them for which window, which room. You can easily tell once they get shipped where they go. Well, darkness has already fallen upon us. You can see it's dark inside from the last little clip that we filmed going over how to order the blinds. We've gone ahead and opened a second box. You'll notice there's a lot less in the second box than the first box. That's because if you order multiple blinds, you're going to get all the documentation in at least one of those boxes. The documentation is going to break down as follows. You'll have the quick installation guide, which we're going to do right away, quick start guide, the remote programming guide, and the getting started guide for whatever motor type that you have. We have the Matter motors in ours. That's why it's the Matter getting started guide. But without further ado, we're going to start with installation. So first thing you need to do is locate your hinges, your brackets. Just squeeze it forward and lift it out. and that's similar to how we put it back on. So I'm going to start with the 2 I have ready to go, and we're going to put them up in that casing and get it ready to mount. So you're going to want to locate your screws. We're probably not going to need these expansion pieces because of the material that we're drilling into is PVC, so these threads should grip it okay. You just have to be smarter than this bag to get it open. And they suggest that you put these 4 inches apart from the side of the opening. So 4 inches on center, so I'm going to measure 4 inches from the side to the center where I want the holes. And I should be able to line up my hinge. You can see the tick mark through the hole there. It's centered. There's also a side mount option. There's instructions on how to do that. I'm doing the top mount option. Now what I don't want to do is drill that way. These are mechanical windows. That other pane opens up and I'd be screwing into it. I'm going to go this way, so I'm just screwing into the bracing that's behind the casing here. Okay, just line this one up and repeat the same process. I have an idea. Let's add some extra light to the situation. Alexa, turn on the master bedroom lights. Now, if I did this right, this should clip in like this, roll it over, and it should lock in. Done. So that's what the closed look will be. So there's a little foam cover here we need to remove. You need to remove this before you start using the blind. But I'm gonna mount the next one first, and then we're going to start testing these ones out before we go to the big one. So that installed nicely. You can actually fine tune it left to right to make sure it's centered. Next, you want to grab your USB cable, take the USB-C end and plug it into the motor. We want to make sure it's charged up properly, like that. And then, like I said, the motor's on this side. My plug happens to be on this side. Grab yourself a USB block or charger, plug it in there, and now it is starting to charge. The green light is blinking.
When they shift the blinds to you, they're in a sleep mode. So you want to push this button and hold it for a couple seconds until it jogs once. Now that the blinds are awake, we can try and use the remote to see if we need to set the limits. We did send the proper height, so hopefully they're already set and we don't have to do any adjusting, but there is a way that we can do that.
So what are we looking at here?
I'm guessing that...
So there's a 1 LED, that means blind number 1.
I'm guessing.
2, 3, 4, all the way to 5, right? Because 5 channels.
Yes, so
let's try number 1 and see which one it is.
Okay, number 1 is the first one we put in.
Okay, so let's have a look here. So we sent the measurements in. If calibrated right from the factory, it should stop right at the bottom here without buckling or piling up. So let's see if it slows down and stops.
Nice.
Ooh, perfect. So that one does not need the limit adjusted, but you can adjust the limits. It tells you how to do it right here in the manual. We might have to do that in this video, but so far we haven't. Is this one number 2?
Well, let's give it a shot. Oh, look at that.
All right, let's see if this needs its limit adjusted. They're really quiet. Mm-hmm. Look at that. Excellent. Well, I think by now we're certified experts, so I think we are now qualified to do the 105-inch blackout shade. So we do need some room to work. I am going to pull these drapes back as far as I can. There, that should do. Now this does come packed better than what you see here. I just took off a lot of that extra cardboard in the garage because there was a lot of protection. So it came nice and safe.
That is a long blind.
Yeah, it's a big one. So this one, because it's much longer, has 4 brackets to hang it. I've already done all my measurements. So I've marked all my spots, evenly spaced all the way along, starting with 4 inches in at each side. So now I can get to securing these brackets, and then we can hang the biggest blind that exists in the universe. Well, they even gave us some extra screws. They must know who they're dealing with.
I think that you're talking about me, not you.
So I'm sorry to say there might be some fingerprints on the glass.
Oh no.
I'll take this foam thing out. Green light is blinking. Okay, we're gonna wake it up with this button here. Hold it down till it jogs. There, it jogged. Okay.
So now hopefully it's number 3.
Hopefully number 3.
So, no?
No, we're gonna have to program it. You know what? It's shipped with its own remote.
Oh.
So I bet you it's number 1 on that remote. And on here, we can make it number 3 later if we decide to.
Okay.
So try this remote. Okay, batteries have been inserted. That's the first remote. This is our second remote. There
That
we
works.
go. Let's see if they need adjustment. Stop, stop, stop. It's slowing down. Ooh. Looks pretty good. Works for me. So those worked as expected. We got 3 installed. No hiccups so far, which is good. Well, except we had 2 remotes, so one wasn't programmed for the other yet, but we can worry about that later. I have to install 2 more in my girls' bedrooms, so we're not gonna record being in there because it's just far too girly.
It's far too messy.
And messy probably. So I'm gonna get that done, and then it'll be a little later, so we'll work on the voice commands and wrap up this video tomorrow. And for you, it'll be what, like
2 seconds.
2 seconds.
We're back. It's been a little more than 2 seconds.
Maybe a little more like 4 seconds for you, but for us like 4 days. In the room, we've already taken down some decorations, so we're not as festive. Just a busy time around the holidays. But either way, we got it done. I got the blinds installed in my girls' bedrooms. So that's done. Everything works with voice control. Everyone's happy. So we're gonna go through the process of setting them up. Now, disclaimer, this may differ for you because our network may not be the same as yours when it comes to the devices that are gonna end up talking to your SmartWings shades. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the first thing you should do is consult the manual. So in the manual, it's going to talk about the different types of controllers, thread border routers, all these terms, all these things about technology you may not be familiar with. But believe it or not, this will actually help you on the right path to make sure you get these set up properly. So on here, they talk about Apple Home, Google Home, Amazon Alexa, and Samsung SmartThings. So initially I tried hooking it up directly to Alexa, following the instructions here, but it was asking for a special key for our thread border router. I don't have that information, but there is a workaround, and it even suggests it within the app. It says try and hook it up with another smart home protocol. So that's what I did. I used Apple Home to talk to my Matter motors in the blinds, and I'll show you exactly what I did. Now, what I really like about this design with these SmartWings shades is there's a QR code not only on the top, which now is tough to access, but they also put it on the inside of the shade itself. So take your phone and your camera, scan that, and then depending on whether you have Samsung or Apple or maybe another smart home control device, scan that QR code. It asks me right here, open in home, and it opens up blinds and I can add them to Apple Home. So I'll overlay some footage from my experience doing this, but essentially what you need to do, you need to go through the pairing process, which is quite easy. Up on the motor itself, there is that same button that we used initially to first test the blinds and wake them up. You hold that down for about 6 seconds and the motor will jog twice. So it jogs first after 3 seconds and then it jogs again after the 6-second mark. Then when you let go of the button, a red light will come on. That means it's in pairing mode. And then as soon as you do that, within seconds, my Apple HomeKit saw the blinds, allowed me to add them, name them, test them out, and they were now able to be controlled. Then you close the Apple app and you go over to your Amazon Alexa app, and then right away you'll start to see that the SmartWings product is available to add to your network or to your smart home. And then you just go through almost the same process by pairing the blind again, but this time with Amazon Alexa. So now that special code that we were getting asked for before, or that key, we don't need to look that up. We already have it talking to our device. So now it's going to work within Alexa. And lo and behold, it was easy to set up. Name it whatever you want. We chose the names that made the most sense for our network. And great news, now we have full voice control over all of our master bedroom shades, as well as the other bedrooms that we installed shades in.
So I will show you how you can use voice commands to open your SmartWings shades. Hey Alexa, open main master bedroom shade. It worked. If you want it even halfway closed, you can use a percentage. So, hey Alexa, close main master bedroom shade to 50%. Yay! You can also set up multiple shades in a group, so you can use one voice command. Hey Alexa, open master bedroom shades. Now there may also be a delay between each one because she's sending a signal to each blind individually, but they still all open with one voice command.
Now, if you're great parents like us, you'll definitely play pranks on people in the other room and control their blinds like we're gonna do with our daughters. Maybe 4, 5 in the morning, something like that, just to, get them in a good mood for the day. But jokes aside, you may also want to download the app. I believe it's called Connector Plus. It's available for iOS or Google or Android devices. Now, you may need to order some more hardware to make it compatible and control your devices. Definitely do your research on that. Like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, just picking the motors is very important to make sure it's all going to work properly. So we didn't have to use the app because we were using the devices that we talked about today in this video. So I would like to thank SmartWings for reaching out and also helping make this video happen. We are very happy with these. They're nice and quiet. I will mention one thing though. At the beginning, when I talked about ordering them and configuring them the way that you want, you may want the light blockers after all. We noticed that the light does kind of get around the edges a little bit, especially if our neighbors have their outside lights on, or if we have a full moon, we're gonna have a little bit of light peek through. So that might be something you actually wanna get. I think we're considering getting those as well. So again, thank you to SmartWings. Definitely check out their website. I'll leave links in the video description below so you can get all the information. But if you like today's video, hit that like button.
Please consider subscribing.
And we'll talk to you next time.
I did it.